Guys, so today we'll be discussing about Mcleodganj in Himachal Pradesh in the month of January 2025. What you should be expecting in terms of weather, road condition, the crowd, and overall what you should be packing and the places that you should be visiting in Mcleodganj in the month of January 2025. So, starting off with the weather, keep in mind that January is the peak month of winter in Himachal Pradesh, and Mcleodganj is one of the places which is a hill station in Kangra Valley, which has a good vibe, but it's going to be extremely cold in the month of January. So the daytime temperature will range from anywhere between 0 to 10 degrees, while the night temperature will be anywhere between 0 to minus 6 degrees. Keep in mind that when you're traveling in the month of January to Mcleodganj, it will get extremely cold in the daytime also, and in the night it will get windy and cold. So carrying a good amount of winter wear is important. It's also important to understand that January is the month when it can snow in Mcleodganj town, but it will definitely be a hit and miss if it might or might not snow. Even if it snows, it will be very limited snowfall that you'll find and experience in Mcleodganj town. But it's the higher up regions, that's like Triund and Dharamkot, that's where you'll definitely find a lot of snow. Triund, remember, is a trek, and you need to be leaving early in the morning if you are interested in hiking up to Triund. The reason being, the later you leave, the harder it will get for you to descend back, because after sunset it will get really cold and windy, and you do not want to be hiking back in that cold weather back down. So if you're planning a trip to Mcleodganj and Triund is on your list for January, just make sure you have very good footwear, you have your woolens, and you have a hiking pole. So when you encounter snow along the way, you have a stick or a hiking pole with you to balance yourself out so you don't end up slipping and falling. Now when it comes to the road condition, you keep in mind that the roads all the way up to Mcleodganj from Chandigarh and Delhi are very well made. So the journey from Delhi takes roughly around 9 to 10 hours, and from Chandigarh around 4 to 6 hours, depending on the traffic that you get within the city. It's just that one very important thing that you need to note is that the Volvo buses that travel to this region, they drop you off at Dharamshala, which is around 10 to 15 kilometers away from Mcleodganj, and from there you need to hire a taxi or take a local smaller bus to Mcleodganj. Even if the bus tells you that they're going all the way to Mcleodganj, they will not go because the road is extremely narrow. The only buses, Volvo buses that is, that make it all the way to Mcleodganj are the HRTC Volvo buses which are scheduled to go. No private operator takes you all the way to Mcleodganj. Now when it comes to the clothing that you need to have, that's the second part. The clothing, keep in mind that you remember to have a good amount of woolen wear. You need to have your thermals along with you. You need to have your gloves, your muffler. Keep in mind that your shoe pair is most important. You do not want to be carrying shoes that have bad grip or a low amount of grip, because if you're walking through snow, you'll end up slipping, and it could also be that you're walking through a sheet of ice which is formed because of the water freezing up, and that could be a bigger disaster. So just make sure that you have a very good pair of shoes. Hiking shoes I would personally recommend for the month of January. Woolen wear you can also buy from the market in Mcleodganj, which has a very good and extensive market. Just keep in mind that you'll need to bargain well to get a good deal, or you can also pick it up online from your home city, depending on what you want to do. Now when it comes to the places that you should be visiting, Baksunag is a very good place that you should visit, but the waterfall is not going to be very active. There's going to be water, but it's going to be a very I would say a dried up version of the waterfall. The local monasteries, the Dalai Lama temple, along with the monasteries that are in and around Mcleodganj are worth visiting. St. John's Church in the Wilderness, which is a short 1 kilometer downhill walk from the Mcleodganj Mall Road, is really worth visiting. Then the village of Dharamkot, which is a short 3 kilometer uphill walk from Mcleodganj, is also worth visiting. Keep in mind that Dharamkot village is the start point for the hike to Triund. That's where the hike to Triund starts, and from there Triund hike is around 10 kilometers one way. You can also hire a rickshaw and go to Nadi village, which is a very good village which gives you a panoramic view of the entire Kangra Valley Himalayas. You'll also find the smaller version of Dal Lake, which is it's a good lake, but it's just not going to live up to the hype of what the lake in Kashmir by the same name is. In the month of January, the cafes are open, everything is open in Dharamshala. Just that the crowd will be very less compared to what it is in the month of January. So if you're someone who's planning on going for a peaceful vibe, then the month of January is the perfect time to be going to Mcleodganj. Your hotel room, your accommodation, along with your bus, including even the rickshaw fare, will be far lesser as compared to what it will be in the month of December. So January for me personally is the ideal time for anyone to travel over there when you don't want the crowd and you don't want to experience the mela that Mcleodganj becomes during December. It's over the weekends that you will experience a footfall of crowd because of winter, but during the weekdays it's going to be just dead empty. You can easily travel around all of Mcleodganj on foot in the month of January, because it's very pleasant to be walking around this whole place. You can even enjoy the cable car ride, which takes you all around the small tiny city of Mcleodganj and Dharamshala. Now when it comes to what you should be packing, my personal recommendation is carry a good amount of woolen clothing with you. Carry your sunglasses and your lip balm, because these are two vital things that you need to be having. Just make sure that when you're booking your accommodation, you opt for an accommodation which has a heater in the room, because the room can get so cold that you will struggle to sleep in the night. But when it comes to a heater, just make sure that the hotel has a power backup, so that in case the electricity goes, which is very frequent in the winter months, there is a power backup, so your heater can also function, because it can get so cold even though it doesn't snow that you will have an uncomfortable sleep pattern because of the cold that you will experience. Just make sure that you do not have a bath after sunset, because that's when you will fall sick by default, and having a bath with cold water is not at all recommended. Overall, in the month of January, if you're traveling, my recommendation is travel for at least 5 to 7 days, if not more, because the longer you stay in Mcleodganj in the month of January, the better your experience will be. Everything is affordable, it's a pleasant vibe, the people are extremely friendly. Overall, Mcleodganj is like a place which can become one of your favorite places in the Himalayas, provided you give it time and you do not just go for a weekend trip. If you go for a weekend trip, you will find crowd, and that's what's going to be a buzzkill for you. If you're planning a trek to Triun, just make sure you have the correct gear and you have a couple of people at least with you on the hike. Do not consider going on the hike alone if it's your first time. My personal recommendation for Triun is leave and start as early as 6 o'clock in the morning, so that you can return back to from Triun to Dharamkot village latest by 4 or 5 in the evening, and you're not hiking back after dark. When it comes to ATMs and payment options and network, there's very good excellent 4G and 5G from Airtel, Vodafone, Jio and BSNL, so you do not need to worry about network. ATMs are all over, UPI and QR payments are accepted all over, so payments are not an issue. If you want to hire a taxi from the main city center, you'll get plenty of taxis, but you really honestly do not need a taxi for Mcleodganj. We have a trip to Mcleodganj, Rivalsar and Beer happening in January. If you're interested, you can click on the link in the description. If you have any further queries related to Mcleodganj, leave a comment in the comment section and be more than happy to help. Till our next video about Mcleodganj, stay happy, stay safe and stay blessed.